From Berlin, it's High 2013. Please welcome your host, the effervescent and energetic Milo Yiannopoulos.
Thank you. A little late on the smoke. Shall I do it again? Thank you very much for joining us. We're delighted you can all be here. So, we're going to be taking you this evening through a journey that will teach you where technology is going, how it's transforming our lives, how it is re-architecting old media groups, how it is changing the way that business is done, and how it's changing the way that people communicate. But first of all, I have a little game to play with you. Under your seat, you're going to find a flashcard. If you could fetch it for me. Okay, on one side of your card, you'll find a green with the word professional. On the other side of your card, it'll say iPhone app with red. Now, what I want to talk about this evening with a number of our guests is how technology is enabling ordinary people to create extraordinary things. Are you all right? Are you okay? Sorry. Enough! You have the host from here. So we're going to talk about how, particularly internet technology, and for God's sake, enables ordinary people to do extraordinary things. And one example is art. So we all know Instagram. Our own homegrown success story, EyeEm, is the German version of that. Now, I have a little game to play with you. I'm going to show you a few pictures, and I want you to tell me through the medium of flashing whether the picture you see is a result of a professionally produced studio photographer or whether it's an iPhone app shot. So if we could have the first picture, please. So this is a charming composition. You'll see 4 heads beautifully cut off out of shot. Some sea. Do you think this is a professional photographer, or do you think this was taken with an iPhone app? It's pretty clear consensus on that one. Okay, I'm with you on that one. Second photo, please. This is lovely. This is lovely. You probably can't see it through the smoke, but I assure you it is lovely. Was this beautiful image taken by a professional photographer or with an iPhone app? Let's have a look. What do we think? Mixed. I think the professional photographer just about has it. And finally, this one. That's lovely. It's beautiful. Do you think this was the result of an iPhone app or a professional photographer? Let's have a look. I think professional just about has it. No, I'm afraid this was an iPhone app too. To explain how these images are created, I'd like first of all to show you a video that we made about EyeEm, which is a company we think is pretty great.
From the heart of Berlin's creative and technology scene, EyeEm is a savvy Berlin startup that experienced explosive growth in the last year. Powered by smartphones that have ever more powerful cameras, it's an app that empowers everyone to take beautiful photographs and share them with the world. For a long time, semi-professional photographers had a monopoly on the affordable end of the home photo market. Now anyone can create beautiful, bespoke images using nothing more than their mobile device. Download the app, take a photo, share it, and explore the world around you through the eyes of millions of other people. Founder Meissner says that the vision behind EyeEm is to revolutionize the way we discover people, topics, and places through the photos we take. At their Photo Hack Days, developers and designers are building new apps that eventually change the way we'll take photos in the future.
So to explain a little bit more about how this technology works and just how remarkable it is, I'd like to welcome onto the stage my good friend Meissner, the CEO and founder of EyeEm. Now, you may be wondering why he's cradling his hand in this apparently unnecessary manner. So Flo was drunk dancing last
No,
night.
it's actually it's not the case. I'm a little bit shaky. If that might make the impression, I actually broke my hand last night. It was already kind of screwed due to a football tournament. I slipped last night at an event and fell down on it.
At an
and
event.
It kind of hurt. So I didn't have,
At an event.
To be honest, it was a wedding in Hamburg, but no. To be honest, it was so it kind of hurts. I didn't have the time to go to the hospital yet, but I will do that right after we are done here.
So he's jumping in a taxi directly after
Yeah.
the event. Thank you. Would you like to come over with me and let's have a chat? This is you.
Sure. Cheers.
Can I mix you a drink? Because I need one.
I have a white wine, please.
Lovely. All right. Well, let's have wine.
It's actually good. White wine, and the adrenaline already kicks in.
We've discovered that if you get people drunk on stage, they tend to say all sorts of embarrassing things.
I'm all up for it.
Are your
Come on.
investors here?
Might be, yeah. Hi there.
Terrific. Now, first of all, I want you to explain to me how does the software do this, right? Because
sure.
I mean, like pretty much anyone can take a reasonably okay picture.
Sure.
With their smartphone, but you know they seem to come out the other side looking beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, what really when you think about this whole photo sharing and photo app space, everyone thinks about filters as an essential part of this, But when we started, we realized there was actually 380 billion photos taken in 2012 alone. This is actually 4 times higher than 10 years ago. And if you fast forward a couple of years, there's going to be more photos taken in 1 year alone than in photographic history together. And this actually makes it quite clear. So there's tons of photo apps out there. And to make it simple for you to take a photo, apply a couple of gimmicky filters and annoy your friends on Facebook. But when we started, we actually thought a little step further and realized, hey, there's photos created, there's so many. The actual problem is how to find those. The next generation, and we consider ourselves this, of photo sharing apps is not about photo filters, but about data filters. This is basically the technology that we're building.
I mean, I find it remarkable that you can just pull out, the sort of phone that we all have in our back pocket and create beautiful images like this.
Yeah.
I mean, as a former publisher, like I know that like semi-professional photographers are basically the bane of the media industry's existence. I mean, they're generally pretty awful people. I mean, you're putting them all out of work, aren't you?
That is actually the plan, right?
Right, you're happy about this?
Yes. No, that's the point. I mean, when you look from a content perspective, it's a blue ocean content market because there's tons of it's different media, the images are fundamentally different as opposed to what you can buy as a publisher at the Gettys or Corbuses, Shutterstocks or Fotolias of the world. It's hyper-local, it's social, and it's way more authentic. Also from the buyer's perspective, the use cases where people need photos is increasing. Think about if you are a brand, an international airline like Lufthansa. I mean, you have your Instagram accounts, your Twitter accounts, your Facebook accounts. You're shooting emails to your clients on a regular basis, have microsites and that kind of stuff. And we figured that's actually there's tons of more content that people want to buy, and they will eventually be able to do that with us.
So I mentioned earlier, you have a very well-known competitor, which has been something of a success story.
Who?
Instagram.
Ah, right. Okay. I've heard about
Maybe you've heard of them.
Yeah. They're not existing anymore. They're actually they merged with Facebook, and for us, how we look at it is basically they are a connection-based network. So basically, it's all about the boring stuff that your friends take and you see on Facebook anyway. So it's not about the content itself; it's about the social part behind that. We consider ourselves a content-based community. So it's actually the photo, the images is actually what's important with us. Yeah.
Okay. So do you have any? I mean, I'm trying to get a sense of how big the company is compared to some of the Valley startups that we hear more about. Sure. I mean, can you share with us any kind of numbers?
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy for me because first of all, thanks for the invitation. It's great to be back. Hi in January was an amazing event, and we just hit our first 1 million downloads actually a couple of weeks before. And some of you might have noticed that there was a couple of companies that profited from actually Instagram's terms of service shift, which resulted in a huge burst and Aufschrei in the photographers community due to the fact that ownership is something that we really value. But the crazy stuff actually happened afterwards. So can talk a little bit about numbers as well, if you like. So that was actually, it started getting completely crazy end of January, beginning of February. So what happened, we saw in our dashboard so many photos taken in a very particular city in Texas. And what happened actually at a couple of high schools, these kids actually would use us, and one of the schools blocked us at the school, the teachers. And what these kids would do, that would actually screenshot their EyeEm profiles and post them on Twitter and on Instagram, and saying, hey, we just discovered the new shit. The other half would say, it's boring as crap, and don't try that. But if you have two friends who say exactly the opposite stuff, you're going to try it out. And actually, we went viral on Twitter and on Instagram, basically, back then. And so 2 days later, we were trending on Twitter in the US before Lance Armstrong, and that was when Lance Armstrong was in trouble. And a week later, we were actually second most. We went up in the app stores in the rankings, and we're second most downloaded app after YouTube on the US market, which resulted in actually 280,000 downloads per day. Well, I'm just super proud about my team, because we're still a very tiny product team of 15 people, mostly engineers, 2 product people, 2 designers, 2 community specialists who did an amazing job, and me basically. And so we went from 5 to 35 Amazon instances in 3 weeks, which was absolutely ridiculous. And to be honest, I'm just happy that we can, like, for now, really focus on making the next steps and thinking about how to do that.
So we're talking to a lot of people about media this evening. The Chicago Sun-Times this week just fired all its staff photographers, and it's sending all its journalists on iPhone photography training courses.
Oh, interesting.
Right. So do you think this is essentially the future? I mean, I'm just pulling back from the business and talking about, you know, what your app represents in terms of trends. I mean, do you think that we are predominantly going to be seeing images around us that have been snapped on smartphones, and therefore that photography is going to become a bit like opera? It's going to be this sort of rarefied high art that very few people have access to, and even newspapers just use regular kind of smartphone pictures.
I mean, to be honest, like the compact cameras we know is going to be dead in 5 years. It's not existing. This is a dying kind of device. So absolutely. I mean, if you look at, there's a Nokia phone which already has 42 megapixels. You can print billboards with that. So that's absolutely, I'm seeing that totally. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and the beauty about it is the way we look at it is we don't want to target professional photographers or even amateur photographers. We look at no talks. That's how we call them. It's actually no photographers. People have no clue that they're actually producing commercial value. Yeah? That's the stuff at the Beyonce concert at O2 World, or basically stuff that happens at Tahrir Square, and also the beautiful stuff, the stock imagery that a little bit more advanced people take with their phones, and that's completely changing the way we, well, create the content, but also distribute it. Yeah.
What I find particularly attractive about this sort of art that's created with these apps is it's not just beautiful, but it's also a bespoke work of art that kind of has nostalgia encoded in it, because you took it. It's a picture of some, perhaps of your stuff, of somewhere you went. Let's talk to a company who is creating those sorts of bespoke experiences that your kind of app is recording. I'd like to welcome to the stage Johannes Reck from GetYourGuide. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about this personalized experience that we've been discussing. I mean, traditionally, you'd book a holiday, you'd go to a travel agent, you'd look in a catalog, you might even see what's going on what's available at last minute if you decide you want to go away. You're doing some pretty big changes to your product right now, and you're heading, as I understand it, towards more of a personalized sort of bespoke holiday experience. Can you just talk us through sort of how that works? And we're going to have a little demo in a minute, I understand, from one of your colleagues. But can you talk us through how that process works?
Absolutely. Let me take a little step backward here first. Online travel is the largest single industry on the internet, and for the past 10 years, online companies have built billion-dollar market caps, literally on just very simple, I would say, Google arbitrage models, where you would optimize for your Google AdWords or for your SEO, would get people on your site, would just optimize the booking flow, and that's it. And I think generally what we're seeing currently, and this comes to your question of personalization, is that this is not how the travel experience of the future will work anymore. So what we're seeing right now is that more and more companies, and we also recognize that and want to be part of that change, actually go much further and don't only take the Reck products, the very standardized products, and just try to convert people into this funnel, but really try to find what's really appealing to a person, because at the end we're all very different people. When Flo travels, he's interested in much different things than I am. He might be interested in a different type of accommodation. He might be staying within an Airbnb, in a hotel, in a 4-star hotel, in a hostel. He might be interested in a cooking class in Berlin. And this is really what the new Get Your Guide is about, is more identifying what the user wants, and what the optimal experience for a user is going to be, and then optimizing towards that, and going away from the very simple one-size-fits-it-all model, which is still prevalent in the travel industry.
So, I mean, if you could just talk us through the changes that you're making at the moment. I think we have somebody who can talk us through that actually on stage, right? Is it Tao Tao that we have?
That is right.
Okay, but let's bring on one of the other co-founders of Get Your Guide, please. If you could welcome Tao Tao.
It was now or never.
The weather was perfect.
We were so excited.
And liftoff.
My knees were shaking.
It was just us and the city.
I couldn't stop smiling.
I felt like I was in a movie.
And then I flew.
You've got to see this.
Fantastic.
It was perfect.
Hi, everyone. So I just want to take 2 minutes to talk a little bit about the redesign process that we've been doing at Get Your Guide for the course of the last 6 months. So as you can see behind me, this used to be our customer experience. And it's very clear that this is not the best part of the product experience that Get Your Guide had. So interestingly, customers didn't mind that much. So they were voting with their wallets, and they were saying, this is good enough. But we clearly thought that to build a really sticky product experience, we had to go a lot further. So what we decided is we really need to look at the whole thing and do it again from the ground up. 2 things fell in place that were really lucky shots for us to make this process really fast and I think really good result, which you can see later. So the first thing is we chose to partner with a design agency which turned out to be spectacular. It's called Eden Speakerman, the pretty well-known company in Berlin. And we worked very closely with them over the course of 6 months in sessions and a lot of tutorials and workshops to come up with not just a brush up of a design, but a really complete overhaul of our brand experience. The second thing that worked really well in our favor is when the team from Gitsy decided to join us, so around Ediel, Flores, and Phil, and they brought on a ton of design and product and social talent that we then used to really accelerate the process. So with these guys combined together, we then really came up with a new brand that we thought shouldn't just be about a booking website, but as Johannes said earlier, it has to be more. It has to be more around, we sell really inspiring products. So the product we use to represent all these activities needs to be inspirational, needs to be very personal, needs to be unique for everybody. And of course, given that you book, maybe an elephant riding in Bali, it has to be very trustworthy. So what we decided to come up with is, first of all, a logo and colors that truly represent the design we want to have. So if you look at the logo, what we chose with this logo is that it's really a trustworthy crest of quality It is a very personal, it's a very friendly word mark, and at the same time, it's a place marker. So it's a travel company, so it should give you a visual orientation of where to go. For the colors, we chose very vivid, very subtle colors to really lend a very personal touch to the overall brand experience. When it came to the typography, we had the unique honor of working directly with Eric Spiekermann. So Eric Spiekermann founded the font shop in '98. He created many, many fonts, and you've probably seen him in these documentary Helvetica. And we worked very closely with him to figure out, now how can we find the perfect font that is truly a representative of the brand, of being personal, inspirational, and trustworthy. And I think we're very, very lucky in having found this font in FS Albert, which is friendly, it has a touch of playfulness, and at the same time, it's very sturdy, a very sturdy web font that can be appreciated by a lot of different people. So ultimately, the end result is after 6 months of working day and night for the relaunch that we can do at High, we came up with this entire new GetYourGuide design experience. And we think this is really the best that anyone in this industry, in terms of activities and things to do, has brought up to showcase it. So just a note, this is a very alpha version, so this is really 0.1, and we're rolling out a lot more different things. So this is only on the front end. Now, when you come to the design, as you know, you got to make the whole website responsive and everything else. So that's coming over the time, and of course, we're always looking for designers to help us on this journey. Thank you.
The relaunch just went live, and you'll see that over the next month we'll do a couple of changes. Tao is just alluding to it. One of the very big changes will be that we will have a fully responsive mobile website. So we actually designed this entire experience starting on mobile devices. For any one of you who hasn't done this yet, I can highly recommend. We truly believe, as a travel company for in-destination service bookings, you have to be on mobile devices. And I think the future of designing websites is really starting on the mobile device and then going up. So mobile is going to be the next big change, but this is live from today.
Thank you. We've spoken briefly about how ordinary people can create extraordinary things with software, but what do you do once you've built a beautiful artwork? Well, you might want to sell it. And technology is also enabling you to turn yourself into a retailer. You can sell anything to anyone, anytime, anywhere. And to discuss how that's made possible, I'd like to invite Carl Waldekranz from TicTail onto the stage, please. While I pour you a drink, I'll ask you the first question.
Thank you.
What do you want?
A beer would be great.
You want a beer now as well, do you?
This feels good.
I don't know where the bottle is. It's supposed to be open there somewhere. There you go. Take a look, see if we can find something. So talk us through this process. I mean, it's kind of amazing the fact that anybody can now be a shop, right?
Yeah.
Wait, how did you come up with this idea? And talk us a little bit through where this all came from.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you so much. We try to plan these things so that they go very smoothly. But
so I'm the CEO and one of the co-founders of TicTail, and essentially our ambition is quite big but simple. We want to create the world's most used and loved e-commerce platform, essentially enable anyone to start an online store. And I guess that, well, people ask more often and often, how did you guys come up with the idea of TicTail? And I really don't think TicTail is an idea per se. I mean, we make it easier than ever to start an online store, but if anything, that's evolution rather than innovation. It's the direction the web is taking. Everything's becoming easier and easier. And actually, the technology is kind of being removed from the equation. I think it's interesting right now that the internet used to be, about being unique about the technology. Like when Silicon Valley started, it was to create a new technology. And much more now, you come to an investor and they say, if you have no competitors, then the space doesn't exist. And I think the web, which is interesting to hear from GetYourGuide now, is becoming more and more about user experience. And I think that's essentially what's driving TicTail and what makes TicTail special. Like, we remove technology from the equation. We create an alternative for people to start selling online without actually having to know what SEO means. Like, to remove e-commerce, for people that don't care about e-commerce, essentially.
What does a typical customer of yours...
Well...
What is a typical...
You're just fucking with me now, aren't you?
What does a typical customer of yours look like? I mean, it's very hot up here, isn't it?
Yeah, it is hot. Well, what they look like: brown hair, one.
What I mean to say is, one of the things about these new businesses is that you can pretty much be like an auntie making pottery. And manage to set up a store online these days, right?
Yeah.
And you're one of the companies that's enabling people to do that. I guess what I mean is, your customers aren't necessarily particularly technologically savvy, right?
No. So our first customer, the first store online on TicTail was my mother, and she in fact sells pottery. She has a quirky business.
Sorry, no, I love pottery. I love pottery.
She sells like Chinese porcelain with old school tattoos on it. Okay. Quirky but great business. Buy mutti.com, buy a plate.
Crazy Scandinavians.
Yeah. Well, and I guess that she was the kind of customers that we created the platform for. We call our customer segment the indie brands and the boutiques. It's like companies that care more about the product and the story rather than sort of e-commerce as a choice or a strategy. They come from the product side of things and they don't really care about the technology part of things. But looking at, like, in this first year, we've reached more than 15,000 stores now, adding about 1,000 stores per week now. And like Lufthansa use our platform, speaking of Lufthansa. And so it's a wide range of stores now. It's pretty cool.
You might imagine that the process of ordering a takeaway is something that we've pretty much nailed, but apparently we haven't, because venture capitalists have seen fit to invest $80 million in Delivery Hero. And to explain what on earth all of that money is being spent on, I would like to invite Niklas from Delivery Hero, please, to come up to the stage and talk to us about how he is revolutionizing home food delivery. So, what are you spending all that money on? I mean, like, isn't the Yellow Pages good enough?
No, the way we see it is that in order to build an awesome food ordering experience for our customers, you have to build a great product, first of all. But you also have to get a lot of restaurants signed up. You can have the best product, but if you don't have the restaurants and the partners, you will not have a great business. So, of course, if you want to do this in multiple markets at the same time, and that's what we decided to do, we decided that we have to go quite aggressively on that market. We see it's happening right now. People are ordering food, and they switch from phone to mobile. And we, over the last year, signed up 37,000 restaurants across 13 markets. And by doing so, we are today the world's largest platform in online food ordering.
So in a way, you're kind of doing a similar job to what these guys are doing. I mean, you're enabling sort of small mom and pop shops, like, kind of pop-up takeouts and all the rest of it, to reach, huge new audiences. Have you noticed people's consumption habits changing? Do people kind of try out more new, different food because they have all of this stuff they can now have delivered to them?
I think so. I think people go from being ordering pizza once in a while to actually order other type of foods. I think the food consumption has a bit changed. People have started ordering more sushi, people have started more Indian, Thai, and other cuisines. So I think just the fact that they have the easy availability, and if you will sit here, you will probably have 100 restaurants delivering to your area. If you go to the platform, you will start get taste for more than just pizza. So I think we probably have changed the food habit. I also think that people have the choice and can see the availability, as well as a ranking and the trust that we get from the platform. You tend to order maybe one or twice more frequently than we would otherwise.
I mean, what I really want to know, I guess, is like, is it really radically better than just calling my local pizza joint? I mean, like, if you were to order me a pizza now, like, how long would it take?
Let's give it a try. So what you would do is you start the app. So in Germany, it's called Lieferheld. You will directly be connected to where you sit, so you don't have to enter on a street address and so on. You would then see, so here right now we have 96 restaurants delivering to this area. So you see here you have a Thai restaurant, you have a sushi restaurant, bagel, and so on. So you can see the ranking, so that's an advantage. You can see our customer reviews, as well as we have a ranking algorithms that will make sure that you will be recommended the best food. So let's say you want to order, you said a pizza. So let's see if I have a good pizza here. So let's take this one. Looks good, has a good rating, 4.8 stars. I then go for a pizza. Let's go for vegetarian. So let's see, vegetarian. Let's order 2 of them. Go to the cart, Sukaze, and order. And boom, here it is.
The other one's for him.
So let's share it. So you see, this is how delicious you get it. A good pizza ordered very quickly. And I think, can you beat that experience by phone?
Pretty good. Okay. That was lovely. Thank you. That's all we have time for in this section of the show. Thank you very much to my guests. Thank you all for being here.